What I found in academia is they let you get so far if you're from a certain background, and then you get kept down, right? It's very typical. You have the Oxbridge educated people from a certain background. These are the people who are dominating academia, and you stand out, and it's just so hard to change things. And when I came into, the GC debate, I had no idea what I was getting into like everybody else. I thought I was saying common sense things, and I still am. But it's like the replication for me of those dynamics. They'll pat you on the head, they'll be nice to you, but they will keep you down and put you in your place because you do not have the right background. They just kind of, it's so patronizing. They're like, you'll never be one of us.
Oh, hi, is it me then?
Yeah, go Amanda.
Um, I quickly made sure that I checked what the classes were just so that I didn't say anything wrong. So, hello from the lower class. Um, so I tried to look up these 5 classes, and apparently they're lower class, which means long term unemployed, which I am. Working class, low level, unskilled. Middle class apparently is the vast majority of people who fall into this class in Britain. Upper class are like your lawyers, etc. And then you've got your aristocrats, lords. So I'm not sure if that actually is the class system. When you guys are talking about classism, that's just what I googled. But all I do know is that I was born into and lived the lower class. That's all. That's just always been the way my life's been. Um, and as much as it gets better, I'll still be probably classed as lower class. And so I had written a question in the comments where I said, "Is classism fluid?" And I think wee Judith thought I was being funny, but I was actually being serious. I think it's kind of like Titanic, isn't it? Basically, so say I was to move to upper class, I probably necessarily wouldn't be accepted just because of the way I speak. I think it's like new money, old money kind of thing. Um, I just wanted to say to Isla, sorry about the academic thing because I know I moan about that all the time, and you're right, I probably do use it in the wrong context. So I made sure that I looked it up, um, and it was basically obviously highly educated people who are lecturers, part of universities or research teams, but also people with PhDs. So I am so sorry if I heard you ladies talking about it earlier. You know, people with PhDs doesn't necessarily mean they're academics, right? So I'm going to refrain from using that term from now on, the academics, because I actually do appreciate and admire you very much. And now that I've looked up the actual definition, um, so I just want to say as well, when it comes to the feminism thing, right? I really tried to learn about feminism very quickly, but then I realised that there was all different types of feminism, and I was just like, oh my god, how am I ever going to be able to learn all this? Like, how the hell? And then you'll be getting to know certain women, and then I thought, hold on, these feminists are now attacking each other, and it all mostly come down to politics. And so I just thought, fuck this, I don't have enough time to learn about feminism, and I don't have enough time to learn about fucking politics. So I'm just going to need to go back to my gut instinct and what I know. And I'm just going to realise that, just treat people as individuals. If you're an arsehole, you're an arsehole, right? There is no sacred caste that cannot be called out on their arseholishness. And I don't think anybody from my class would come on here and one, understand most of what's getting said, or even be able to keep up with the conversations, or even read a lot of the text. I'm not saying they're stupid, right? It's just not what they do, it's just not their thing. But I think there shouldn't be any hierarchy either in the people that have been affected by this gender ideology, whether it's women with children that are claiming they're trans, whether it's women being raped in hospitals, whether it's women who have married AGPs, whether it's the children at AGPs, like I was, but a lot of people probably won't know. So that's all I would like to say.
I just wanted to speak to the classism point that's being addressed in this space. And I think a lot of women today may not know that women's rights were primarily achieved by working class women. They were fought for by ordinary, hardworking women who were going through the experiences of subjugation and discrimination in a world dominated by men firsthand. And even if they did, if they were fortunate enough to be born into a level of class privilege, those women still were speaking on behalf of and representing the most marginalized and the most vulnerable of women. And also, and I think writing, I think it's the women writers that really played such a huge part in liberation in the last centuries. And it's not accidental, I think, that we don't really study what books written by women. And it was women like Elizabeth Gaskell and Charles Dickens and other writers that fought for this legislation. But they were, they were working class. So yeah, I think what happened was we achieved a lot because it was women that were fighting for ordinary women and girls. And then I think somewhere in the 50s, we got the vote. We achieved a lot. Somewhere in the 50s, men convinced women that their true liberation was just being sex objects, that was really the most liberating thing for women, was just to be able to have sex and be paid for sex. And that was, that was true female liberation. And sadly, a lot of women swallowed that. And I think that's where we are now, where you have women like, like Oprah Winfrey, all of the, all of the women, they are women who have power, have privilege, have money. They can advocate for these policies like prostitution, pornography, surrogacy, because they are untouched by it. I understand that divide, but yeah, I just wanted to bring up that, that true feminism is about representing the most vulnerable woman. True feminism is about representing all women. Feminism is not about advocating for something that benefits you personally, but is going to hurt women as a sex class. Feminism is about what benefits women as a sex class, women and girls. And obviously feminism, or at least the mainstream liberal feminism, has lost sight of that.
Hi Grace, it's Taylor. You're right. Hi everybody. I just wanted to just go to speak to the classism issue a little bit. As someone who was brought up in the military, I grew up in a classless society. But when I got married, I married an upper class, very abusive man who called me a chav all the time and forced me into elocution lessons. That's why I kind of talk a little bit like I do. And I just think it's a really, really sad issue that there's so many women that call themselves feminists that actually don't behave like feminists. And I had to drop the word radical feminist when I came over. Now I just call myself a women's rights campaigner, which is kind of what Kelly J. Keane does.
I think when we come to feminism, maybe some of us have been naive in thinking we have, found this community and everything is equitable. We're fighting for women and the same cause. And instead you find yourself up against the same problems that brought you to feminism in the first place, with those dynamics replicated within feminist circles, and on it goes. So we find ourselves confronting the same problem with the same class dynamics